Hello, everybody. Coach Larry here. You know, it's really interesting about this Facebook Live. I love it. But every time I've done a Facebook Live broadcast, when I go for about 15 to 20 seconds and it cuts off. And then I restart it and it's off and running for about 15 or 20 minutes without a problem. So I don't know what the deal is, but you know what? We're off and running, aren't we? So it's great to see you guys. This is a special Thursday night edition of One-to-One. So what we're going to be talking about tonight is something that's really, really important for many of you in the audience who are swimmers. We're going to be talking about home court advantage. Home court advantage. What is it? What makes it so impactful? And how you can have home court advantage even when you're not on your home court or your home pool, as is the case with swimming. So December. We are now into December. December is a really big month in the world of swimming because it pretty much marks the middle or the midpoint of the short course season. Been working since late August or early September, working hard, doing dry land, lots of swimming, lots of early mornings. And this is a time of year when coaches ease up a bit, let the kids put on their really awesome fast suits and get in there and race. And then March is the other big time of the short course season. So we got December and March, and we're at December. So several of you have meets this weekend. Others have meets a little bit later in December. So I want to talk to you about a couple of things that I believe will help you. They've helped many people. They helped me in my own competitive swimming. But these things will help you feel like you really have home court advantage when you go to a pool that's not your home pool. So that's what tonight's all about. It's about home court advantage, whether you're at home or whether you're away. And what are those things about when you're at your home court? What are those things that make it so much more likely for you to be successful when you're at your home court? I mean, think about college basketball. I think that's one of the greatest examples of the advantage of being at your home court. First of all, you're very familiar with the surroundings. When you're at your home court, you know where everything is. There are no surprises. You know where the break room is. You know where your coach hangs out. You know where the gallery is. Also, the other big thing, though, is fan support. And you know this if you watch college basketball, especially if you watch ACC basketball. There's unbelievable fan support. And the fans really make a big difference. And so we're going to talk about not only becoming familiar with the pool where you're going to be swimming, but also how you can encourage really good fan support. Because what we want to do now in December is we really want to swim fast. You've been working really hard. It's time to go fast. All right? So let's get going. Now, the two main things, like I said, that make home court advantage so advantageous. Number one, being familiar with your surroundings. And number two, fan support. So I'm going to give you some ideas on some things that you can do. If you're a swimmer swimming this weekend, or if you're swimming next weekend in your big December meet, these are things that you can do to help you focus on racing and minimize distractions, because that's what we want. Minimize the distractions, focus on racing so you can give it all you've got. So the first thing I want to recommend that you guys do whenever you arrive at the pool, when you go to the pool, I want you to do a walk around. Now, this may sound a little, I don't know. It may sound a little generalized. It may sound a little goofy, but it works. It is so important to do a walk around. Now, what is a walk around? Well, basically, you walk around. You walk around and you observe things. So when you arrive at the pool where you're going to be swimming, take a look around. Take a look around at the general layout of the pool. Get a sense and get a specific marking on where certain things are. For example, where's the locker room? Where am I going to sit? Where are my parents sitting? Many of you have your parents come to your swim meets. Where are my parents going to be sitting? How do I get up into the gallery? Where's the snack bar? That was pretty much my main focus when I was a kid. Where's the snack bar, right? Where is your team going to be sitting on deck? That's a really important thing, to get there and get settled so you don't have to worry about where am I going to sit. These may seem like little things and insignificant things, but they're so important. Why? Why are they so important? Because they help you feel comfortable. And when you feel comfortable and you don't feel threatened and you don't feel lost and bewildered, you can focus on your race. I'm telling you, it makes a huge difference to do a walk around. Another thing that you should look for is, where is the lifeguard station? You know, safety first. You want to make sure that you know where the lifeguards are, because invariably at swim meets, people will stub their toe, or they cut their finger on a lane line, or they, bump their head going around a corner. I don't know. There accidents do happen. So you want to know where the first aid station is. You want to know where the lifeguards are. You want to see what the pool deck is like. Is it really slippery? Does it have good traction? Are you going to need to have your running shoes on, or can you go barefoot? So just take a look at the overall general surroundings. Get familiar with it so that you can be very comfortable, very confident that you know where everything is, so that you can focus on your races. So, number one, when you get to the pool, do a walk around. The second thing to do, in order to give yourself that feeling of home court advantage, is to be very observant during your warm-up. Very, very observant. You see, when you get to the swim meet, a lot of times warm-ups are chaos, right? There's a million swimmers in the pool, you're bumping into people. Warming up is not just about getting in the water and loosening up your muscles. In fact, it is so much more than that. So, do a couple of these things during your warm-up to make sure that you have home court advantage so that you feel comfortable. Notice notice the water temperature. Is the water going to be, when you dive in during your race, are you going to be shocked, or is it going to feel good? Get a sense of the water temperature. These are the things that you want to observe during your warm-up. Get an idea of the water depth. Is this a really deep pool? Is it a shallow pool where I have to be extra careful when I dive in? What's the depth of the pool? Now, here's a really important one. Look at the pool markings. Okay, you swimmers, you know what I'm talking about. There are markings on the bottom of the pool. There's that infamous black line that runs down every lane. But at the end of the line, what is there? There's a T. And the T is there to let you know it's time to turn. Now, some pools, it might have a T there, but it also has a line that keeps going. So, for example, some of you may be going to the Mecklenburg County Aquatic Center for a meet this weekend. And pools like Mecklenburg County Aquatic Center, they put a bulkhead in the middle of a 50-meter pool. And what they do is they turn a 50-meter pool into two 25-yard pools. Well, guess what? The black line that runs all the way down the pool, when you get to that bulkhead and it's time for you to do your turn, the line keeps going because it goes underneath the bulkhead. Well, if you're not paying attention, you can run right into the wall. So you want to make sure that you look at the markings on the bottom of the pool to make sure that you are familiar with what you're going to be encountering during your race. And that's the point, guys. You want to be familiar with what you're going to encounter during your races so that you can focus on racing, not on distracting things. If you're in the middle of a race and you didn't pay attention during warm-up, and you didn't see how deep the pool was or what the markings were like, okay, you're going to be awfully surprised, and it's going to distract you, and you're not going to be able to perform at your peak performance level. And we want to be able to do that. So take note of these things during warm-up. Okay, so right now we're talking about what kind of things you can do at a swim meet to give yourself that feeling of home court advantage. Even though it's not the pool that you're accustomed to, you can make it into your home pool, into your home court advantage, because you're going to be familiar with it. So we want to take note of the water temperature, the water depth. We want to look at the pool markings. Take a look at the starting block. See what kind of surface is on the starting block. Is it really rough so you get good traction, or is it one of those slippery blocks? You need to know that, because if you get up on the block right before your race and you're like, man, this is really slippery, well, that's not going to be very helpful for your race. Okay, that's going to lower your confidence. It's going to make you extra careful, and you don't want that. You want to be ready. So take note of the starting block. Take note of the backstroke flags. Okay, all backstroke flags are the same distance from the wall. Okay, they're the same distance away from the wall, but they're not all at the same height. And if backstroke flags at the pool where you're going to be competing are higher than you're accustomed to, they're going to look farther away. It's an optical illusion. But you don't want optical illusions when you're swimming backstroke, right? Because when you're swimming backstroke, you're going full speed and you can't see where you're going. You're relying on those backstroke flags to tell you how far away from the wall you are so you don't crash into the wall. Well, you better get used to those backstroke flags during warm-up. Okay, so again, don't just mindlessly go through warm-up. You want to take note of these things so that when you get into your position and you're ready to race, then you're really ready to race. You want to have home court advantage as much as possible. You want to be as comfortable as possible at a swim meet. Water temperature, take note of it. Water depth, the markings on the bottom of the pool, what the starting block is like, how high the backstroke flags are. Get used to these things so that in the middle of your race, you don't have to worry. You're already used to it. You say, you know what? I already know this. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. Here's another thing to take note of. This may sound kind of weird, but look at the ceiling. Because when you're swimming backstroke, you better be familiar with that ceiling. That's how you steer. In many cases, that's really how you orient yourself. Think about it. That's why it's so difficult to swim backstroke outside. You know, you look up, if you swim backstroke outside, what do you see? You see a big blue sky and you see cloud formations, and you know, the clouds might look like, you know, oh, that one looks like SpongeBob and that one looks like Santa Claus and there's Darth Vader or whatever. Well, guess what? That's not going to help you steer. You know, it's just going to distract you. It might amuse you a little bit, but it's not going to help you steer in backstroke. Well, now you're going to be inside at these meets. So get familiar with what the ceiling looks like. Understand how you can line yourself up. Look at the lights on the ceiling. The last thing you want to be thinking during your race is, man, those lights are really bright. You don't want to be thinking about the bright lights. You want to think about nailing your turn. You want to think about awesome underwaters. You want to think about a great catch, an awesome kick, and a great finish, and beating that guy next to you or beating that girl next to you. That's what you want to focus on. You don't want to focus on these little distractions. And that's what I'm talking about, guys. What you got to do when you arrive at your meet is familiarize yourself with your environment so you feel comfortable, so you can focus on the race, not on the distractions. Got it? Cool. All right, just a couple other quick things. You got to take notice of what the wall is like. When you swim into a wall and you're going to do a turn, is there a gutter or is it a flat surface? Because if there's a gutter, you can grab it. If it's a flat surface, there ain't no grabbing going on. Okay, you're just going to have to push and get leverage. So take note of what the wall is like. How slippery are the touch pads? Are they tacky? You know, do they have some traction on there? Or are they super slick? You better find out, because the last thing you want to do is push off the wall and your feet slip off to the side and you ruin your turn. So get used to the wall. Get used to the touch pads. Get used to the lights. Get used to the flags, the starting blocks, the scoreboard. Where's the scoreboard? Where is the starter standing? In fact, here's a really good one. Before your race, you should be listening to the starter and how he or she is starting the heats in front of you. Because each starter has a certain cadence. You know, one thing is sometimes swimmers will say, man, the starter was so fast. You know, they say, take your mark, beep. You know, they beep the beeper and boom, off you go. Well, some starters say, take your mark, beep. You know, it's boom, it's right away. Some starters take forever. Take your mark, beep. Oh yeah, okay. I thought the guy was waiting for Christmas to arrive, but finally he beeped the beeper. So I don't want you to try to second guess the starter. I just want you to get used to the starter. What kind of cadence does the starter have, so that when you get up on the block, you know, okay, this is a starter that tends to hold people down in their starting position for a long time. I need to make sure I'm patient, okay? Because the last thing you want to do when you're in the take your mark position is flinch or go early, because you'll get a false start and that ruins the whole race because it's over and you get disqualified. You don't want that, okay? Okay, so we've gone over two things. Number one, when you get to the pool where you're going to be swimming, do a general walk around. Get the lay of the land so you feel comfortable and you're ready to race. Second thing is, make sure during warm-up that you're dialing in and really taking note of these important items. Okay? Like the flags, like the water temperature, like the ceiling, like the walls. all of these things that could mess you up during your race. Take them out of the picture. Okay, put them on deal with it. Put them on the side and say, you know what? Okay, I'm prepared. Okay, I am prepared for this race because I took note of all these things during warm-up. I didn't just swim through warm-up mindlessly. And then the last thing I will tell you is fan support. Now, again, if you've seen college basketball games, you know the impact that fans can have on the home team or the impact that it has on the visiting team. Okay? So again, we want to take home court advantage with us wherever we go. You need fans. Okay? Whether that's your teammates, whether that's your parents or your grandparents or your aunts and uncles and your coach, etc. You need to have that fan base there. Now, the first rule of having a great fan base is for you yourself to be a great fan. You know what that means? Cheer for your teammates. Okay? Be at the side. If it's not your turn to swim, be at the side of the pool cheering for your teammates. Guess what will happen? Other people will come join you and they'll be cheering for your teammates. And when you get in the water, they'll be cheering for you. That's how it works. Support your team and your team will support you. But if you huddle up in the corner with a pouty face and your big beats on and you're just rocking out to your favorite song while your teammates are in there busting their butt in their race, that's not going to build a great fan base for yourself, okay? You want to be a great fan in order to build a fan base. And I guess the second thing I would say is, and this may be a message more to swim parents than it is to swimmers, but parents or grandparents, when you're in the stands, I want to encourage you to really be fans, not critics, okay? Not Monday morning quarterbacks. Your swimmer, and your swimmers will back me up on this, your swimmer needs to know that they have your support, that you are there, you're 100% behind them, that you love them, you support them, that your love doesn't change based on if they get a best time or not, that you're there for them no matter what, through thick and thin, okay? And if they have a bad race, tell them, you know what, I'm proud of you, you gave it your best. And if they have an awesome race, say, you know what, I'm proud of you, you gave it your best, great job. Okay, so parents, be a great fan base in the stands because it means the world to your kids, all right? So, all right, so that's just a little bit of information that I wanted to give you guys before your big meet in December. A lot of people have big meets coming up this month, so let's take home court advantage with us. No matter what pool you're at, get familiar with it. Even if it's your home pool, even if it's a pool you're very familiar with, you know what you should do? You should look at the heat sheet and see what heat and lane you're going to be in, and go stand behind that. Go stand behind that block. So let's say in the 100 butterfly, you're going to be in lane 5, and you're going to be in heat 3. Well, go stand behind lane 5 and just picture your race. Okay? Look at lane 5, look at the block, look at the scoreboard, look at the flags, and just get familiar with it. Because then later, when you go up for your actual race, you will have a level of comfort that's unbelievable because you'll be able to say, I've been here before. This is not new to me. This is not threatening to me. I've been here before. So I can focus 100% on my race and executing my strategy and really doing my best out there. So we're going to take home court advantage with us. We're going to do a general walk around when we first get there to make sure we understand the lay of the land. We're going to make sure we're very observant during warm-up and not just mindlessly going through the motions, but making sure we're taking inventory of all of these things. And then we're going to build our fan base. We're going to have great fan support by, number 1, being a great fan, and number 2, whoever's in the gallery cheering for you, they're going to be cheering for you no matter what. And guys, even if you just do 1 or 2 of these things, I just gave you a list of a whole bunch of ideas. Even if you just do 1 or 2 of these things, it's going to help you feel more comfortable. Okay? And when you're more comfortable, you can focus on what you're doing, which is racing. All right? So, anyway, for all of you swimmers out there, I hope you have an awesome experience both this weekend and throughout the rest of January. I want to thank all you guys who have joined in tonight to watch, and those of you who watch after this is over. If you have any questions, feel free to go to our website at iSwim1to1. And by the way, we've had 7, just a quick update on Santa's challenge. We've had 7 swimmers who have taken the challenge where they've done a they're doing a lesson in December, and they are getting a $25 discount on their lesson, and they're taking that $25 and they're going out into the community and doing a good deed with it. And they're going to be sending us their emails and telling us what they did. And I can't wait to hear about the impact that they're going to have, because that's what this season is all about. It's about making an impact on people and giving. It's about that spirit of giving and celebration. So it's going to be really cool. Have a great night. Thanks for tuning in. And if you have any questions, shoot us an email at our website. And I wish you guys, all of you swimmers out there, I wish you all the best. All you coaches out there, best wishes to you as well, and your swimmers for a great mid-season meet. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great night. Bye-bye.